What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Shiny Shuriken video, and we have got the SRL returning, of course. That is the Shadow Realm Draft League that we played in for Season 2. We did alright in Season 2. We made playoffs. We made it 2 rounds into the playoffs. We won our first playoff match, and not beautifully, but we did. And then we also kept it close in the second matchup. It was a good matchup, and yeah, good offensive team in Season 2, and we're here to show you what we're bringing in Season 3. It looks a little different, so let's jump into it. Actually, making his return is going to be my Gmax selection of Gmax Grimstarl. I am bringing back this Pokemon because I had 2 ideas for my draft selections. I was either going to try to build a Sun team around Gmax Venusaur or go with a especially defensive and defensive bulky core surrounded by Gmax Corviknight. Lost both of those. Those got picked up. So the best available option on the Gmax board when it came to me was Grimstarl. I wanted to grab something good before I was kind of just stuck with nothing. And so Grimstarl's got a lot of versatility, and I'm actually going to be looking to try to switch it up on its use this season, and try to get out more of the offensive prowess from Gmax Grimstarl. He does have a really fantastic base attack at base 120. So we are definitely going to be trying to hit that up and try our best to utilize Grimstarl in some different ways. He's got a nice deep move pool for both the prankster usage, but also for an attacking offensive mon, and we're definitely going to try to use it that way for reasons that will become clear as I keep running through this board. Up next, we have our S tier pick, and like I said, I wanted to build a core, and it was going to be centric to grab the most specially defensive Bulkmon that's ever hit this game, in my opinion. Chansey is going to be joining the Fargo Falinks in the S tier pick. Chansey has a lot of versatility for pivot and for team control. It's got a lot of options from, being able to set up hazards, to being able to just tank hits, to aromatherapy to heal up the rest of the team, guaranteed damage with seismic toss, and some other options as well. So Chansey's going to be a great addition for me to be able to kind of get some more movement around without really suffering too big of losses and having to take too much damage on the pivotal members that need to really put in the work against the opponent. So very excited to have Chansey for Season 3. Of course, now that we have our special bulk in Chansey, we are definitely going to have to be bringing in the defensive side of it all, and Mammal Swine offers me not just a defensive bulky mon, but also some attacking ability with a solid ground ice core. I think Mammal Swine is a fantastic Pokemon, one that I got absolutely obliterated by in Season 2. Definitely caught me off guard. Choice banded. Mammal Swine was just hitting like a truck, so I'll be interested to try this thing out in different ways. I have used it one and only one time, really, in one way in some free battles, and so I'll be interested to see how this thing performs alongside this bulky team. So as you can see, we've got a little bit of a trend going, and this team is definitely going to be a very hard team to break so far. Keeping with the pattern that you're probably picking up on by now, we picked up with our second A-tier pick, Mylodic. Mylodic is a fantastic defensive mon who has a lot of capability between 2 fantastic abilities with Marvel Scale and Competitive. Lots of opportunity to make this a bulky mon who can, if there's lots of stat drops happening, I can get that special attack raised, and this thing can actually turn into an attacker. And I can also, of course, go with that Marvel Scale and make this thing just an absolute defensive nightmare. This paired with Chansey and Mammal Swine is really the defensive core of the team. These 3 are very, very tough to break. And there's a lot of heal potential for Mylodic and Chansey, of course, with Recover and Soft Boil, respectively. So these top 3, my S tiers and my A tiers, like I said, last season I went straight for offensive. We had a lot of hard-hitting, non-legendary, non-mythical mons in our S tier and our A tiers, and this time I am going the opposite way. The challenge this season will, of course, be the timer. This is not necessarily meant to be a stall team. I don't want people to think it is. This is meant to be a pivot core, one that gives me the opportunity to take some hits that I don't want to take on my wall breakers. So this is definitely going to be a tough team for people to break through in several different fashions. It's obviously going to continue. There's still many new picks to show you guys, but let's get into the opposite of the defense and show you some of the offense. Getting into that offense, we have Heliosk, one of our first B tier picks. Heliosk is a fantastic special attacker with base 109 speed and base 109 special attack. Not the highest, but for a B tier pick, it's fantastic. This is a great special attack and speed stat for somebody that we can find in the B tier. Heliosk offers some additional support for my Pokemon with a dry skin ability. I can utilize sand from other teams with Sand Veil and boost my evasiveness, and even solar power to take advantage of some of those sun teams, which I didn't get to take part of. And we get that opportunity to get ourselves that extra special attack boost, which would just be even more monster. So coupled with things like Life Orb, Expert Belts, Choice Specs, Choice Scarfs, this Heliosk has a lot of options with a decently deep move pool that we can really find some versatility in, and of course that pivot potential with Volt Switch, which is fantastic. And that stab damage will be really great. So Heliosk is our first offensive player. And of course, up next, we have the other balanced side of our offense with our massive attacker, Sirfetchd. Sirfetchd is coming in. I also have him over in the PWD Season 2. So I'm utilizing this Pokemon on 2 teams, and Sirfetchd is a fantastic Pokemon. Massive base attack of 135, I believe. And just so much capability. Knockoff potential, which is just so pivotal in draft leagues. Not to mention the close combat scrappy ability combo where I can hit ghost types, so this thing can hit anything it wants. And it's just going to put out damage left and right. First impression priority, Leaf Blade, Brave Bird, all sorts of additional moves that give me some versatility for my attacking side of things. For our final B tier pick, we had to go for someone that could support both Heliosk and Sirfetchd, who fall short on the speed tiers. So I grabbed this fantastic shiny, by the way, Whimsicott, to come in and lend some additional support. And you are probably thinking, wow, that's crazy. You have 2 pranksters, and it is. I do have 2 pranksters. Whimsicott is a fantastic tailwind setter with that prankster ability and can do just so much more beyond that. Also offers me defog support. It offers me Leech Seed Substitute, Thunder Wave, just all sorts of prankster perfect moves. And I got a lot of prankster usage out of Season 2 with Grimstarl, and I'm excited to add Whimsicott to this matchup. It also offers me some grass and additional fairy type support. It's a special attacker, which is going to assist the team. Its special attack isn't fantastic, but I'll tell you what, a Choice Specs Moonblast can fire off some massive damage. And don't think that Prankster is the only ability that works for this. Infiltrator can come in clutch if we do see the opportunity that somebody's going to be substituting on us or trying to set some screens up and things like that. So I have used Whimsicott in various ways, and I'm excited to add this mon to support both Sirfetchd and Heliosk along with the defensive core. Starting off that C tier, we pick back up on that defensive pattern that you've seen throughout this team, and Dewblade is going to make his Fargo Falinks premiere. Dewblade is a fantastic Eviolite user. Yes, I have 2 Eviolite users on my team, I know. Will you see Chansey and Dewblade in the same matchup? Who knows? Dewblade has some fantastic stat lines. A 110 attack, a defense of 150. I mean, come on, this is a C tier Pokemon we're talking about. Offers me some priority options as well with Shadow Sneak, of course. Dewblade is going to fit very, very well on this team, being able to be my normal immunity and my fighting type immunity as well. Offers me some steel support, so I can try to handle some fairies with it depending on the sets that we bring. But Dewblade is something I'm very excited to try out. I've never used the pre-Evo, but I've used Evo/Plenty. And Dewblade is going to be a fantastic addition to this defensive team. One of the most anticipated snags of the draft for me. This one I was sitting on just praying it didn't get sniped. I had to snag this one because it was just too darn good. Grabbing that Magic Bounce ability, Zatu. Magic Bounce is going to come in so clutch. in Draft League here, I'm always going to have my opponents kind of second guessing what the capability of my team is. From the Whimsicott with Defog, I don't know who else gets Defog, but Zatu with Magic Bounce and Defog as well. I've got plenty of options so far to get rid of hazards and make hazards a non-item for this team, and I think that's really going to help the defensive core not have to take chip damage on all the pivots if we need to be switching around a lot to try and gain back our momentum. Zatu's a fantastic Pokemon that can run... It can actually run some special attack. It can also run a very defensive or specially defensive set on it, which allows it for kind of longevity. It's got Wish Protect opportunities as well as Wish Passing. Obviously, Baton Pass is banned, but we can obviously just switch out and take that hit, even if it's on one of the defensive mons. So Zatu is a fantastic addition to this team. As if the scumminess of this team wasn't enough with the absolute defensive unit this team has turned into, we brought the scummiest bug of all. We brought Butterfree. Now, if you follow me whatsoever, if you've followed any of my streams, if you've battled me, you may have come across a Butterfree. More than likely it was the Gmax version, but the Dynamax version does just fine. Obviously, this is a non-Dynamax league. However, this thing can operate just fine without it. Butterfree is such a fantastic mon because of the Sleep Powder and the Compound Eyes combination. So I can get some key opponents put to sleep. I can set up with Quiver Dance. I can do all the normal stuff that Butterfree likes to do, but it can also just do so much support. Even if it just offers me that free turn to switch around, get my momentum back, do things. If things are asleep, I mean, it's fantastic. Yes, the Sleep Clause is here in the Draft League, much like any Draft League. So, you know, we got to be careful about clicking Sleep Powder more than once, but this is just such a perfect Pokemon that I love. It's not the best. It gets obliterated by Stealth Rocks, but there's so much hazard support. So honestly, this Pokemon could do a lot of work in this team and offers me just an extra attacker and some support, so it's fantastic for this setup that we're running. Our final D tier pick, Seaking, comes in, and I want to touch base on why I grabbed Seaking where I did. Now, Seaking is a fantastic Pokemon and actually a champion from Season 2, coming over from the Cerulean City Mewtwo's and Coach Sen. Seaking offers us a Volt Absorb ability, which is just absolutely wonderful. And the reason I snagged Seaking where I did was because of that Volt Absorb opportunity. We've got several different types of immunities here. We've got Fairy giving the immunity to dragons. We've got Ghost giving the immunities to normal and fighting. We've got Flying types giving us the immunity to ground types. We've got this Volt Absorber. We've got Dry Skin Heliolisk. And I'm just so happy to see so many immunities and so many opportunities for me to kind of pivot around and really mess up opponents' turns. So Seaking joins with some additional benefit that it can set up some Swords Dances, go for some Waterfalls, things like that. Obviously it's a D tier because its overall stat line isn't that impressive, but it's going to be a fantastic mon for the Fargo Falinks here in Season 3. With the final pick in the draft for the Fargo Falinks at our E tier, the Fargo Falinks select Noctowl. Again, another defensively bulky and especially defensive bulky mon that fits very well on the team. It can be run several different ways. I've seen it used very, very well, and offers us some opportunity to, again, mess with sleep and you know, do some other things that probably are going to annoy my opponents. So we have a very, very bulky team, and I'm super excited to use it. It's very different from how I typically try to battle. I am a very much more offensive user. I don't say I'm hyper offense. I'm more of a balanced player, but I do tend to lean more towards those attackers and less of these really, really bulky mons. So there's a lot of Pokemon in here I've never even used before. I've never used a Noctowl. I've never used a Seaking. I've never used a Zatu. I've never used a Dewblade. I've never used a Mylodic. And, you know, my usage with Mammal Swine is extremely limited. So I'm excited to try out a lot of these new mons, and I'm excited to try out this bulky team. This is the Season 3 Fargo Falinks team lineup. I am excited to play with this team. I think it's going to put in a lot of work. It's going to cause some havoc for opponents, and I know that. Back in Season 2 when I applied for the SRL, we had to offer up something we wanted to improve on. Last season, I wanted to improve on my prediction for what the opponent was going to bring and my leadoffs. They were not great. And I progressed very well through the season, I think. I'm excited that I was able to do as well as I did. I'm excited that my skills improved as well as they did throughout. And, by the end, we were getting 4 to 6 Pokemon predicted. And so this season, what I want to work on, because I didn't fill out an application per se for Season 3, what I want to work on this season is how quickly I make a decision. I am trying to get better about my prep work, and I want to make faster decisions and try to make my predictive abilities a little bit sharper. I take a long time to make some of my decisions at times because I'm trying to think through a few turns, and I'm trying to make the best move. And there's nothing wrong with that, but with this 20-minute timer, it obviously has been kind of an issue, and I do want to do better. So we're going to do our best to try to make quicker decisions. I'm going to try to be putting in more time for prep this season, both for SRL and for PWD. And I'm really excited for that. I hope that I don't have too many timers with this extremely bulky team, which more than likely I will. But I'm going to try to keep it to an absolute minimum. You might not see me bring, Noctowl, Zatu, Mammo, Chansey, Mylodic, and maybe Dewblade to a matchup. I'm going to be bringing some of the offensive hitters, and we're going to be trying our best to try and take that full win. So it's definitely going to be a long season with this team. Expect some longer matches, but we're going to try to make quicker decisions. We're going to try to know about our opponent and their Pokemon before the matchup starts. And I'm really excited for Season 3, and best of luck to all of my fellow coaches out there. The Fargo Falinks are excited to be here, and I'll catch you guys in our matchups. Later.